She found the key by accident. It was taped under the old doormat in front of her apartment door, hidden badly enough that anyone actually looking would notice. She almost ignored it, assuming it belonged to a neighbor. But it was placed directly under her mat. No note. No explanation. At first, she felt that sharp flicker of unease. Who would leave a key there? Who even knew her well enough to do something like that? She stepped inside, locked the door behind her, and stared at the small metal object resting on her kitchen table. It wasn't her key. It wasn't the landlord's either. That evening, there was a knock. Not loud, not urgent, just steady. When she opened the door, he was standing there, slightly out of breath, hands in his jacket pockets, looking like someone who had rehearsed a sentence too many times. "I think you found something that's mine." She raised an eyebrow. "You hide your belongings under random doormats." He smiled nervously. "Not random." That's when she realized she had seen him before. In the elevator. On the stairs. The quiet neighbor from the floor below. "It's a spare key," he explained. "For the storage room downstairs. I meant to tape it under my mat. I must have mixed up the doors." She didn't fully believe that, but she handed him the key anyway. Instead of leaving immediately, he lingered. "I've been meaning to introduce myself," he added quickly. "Just never found the right time." "And you thought hiding keys was the right approach?" He laughed, genuinely this time. "No, definitely not." The conversation that followed was awkward at first, then unexpectedly easy. He admitted he had noticed her moving in months ago. She admitted she had noticed him too, always carrying groceries alone, always nodding politely, but never stopping. They ended up talking in the hallway longer than planned. Sometimes life doesn't give you smooth beginnings. Sometimes it gives you small, strange mistakes that force two people to finally speak. And sometimes, a misplaced key opens more than just a storage room. The next time she saw him, it wasn't by accident. He knocked again 2 days later, this time with coffee in hand and no mysterious objects involved. "No hidden keys," he promised as she opened the door. She let him in. Her apartment still smelled faintly like fresh paint and new beginnings. He looked around casually, not judging, just observing. She noticed how relaxed he seemed once he stepped inside, like the hallway version of him was only half real. They sat at the small kitchen table. The conversation drifted naturally. Work. Why they moved to the building. The strange silence of apartment life where you're surrounded by people but rarely connected to any of them. He admitted he almost never knocked on anyone's door. She confessed she rarely opened hers. "Guess we're both bad at first moves," he said. "Except with keys," she replied. He laughed again, more confident now. Over the next few weeks, the hallway became less neutral territory. They started walking downstairs together in the mornings. Sometimes he'd knock lightly in the evenings just to see if she wanted to grab dinner. Nothing dramatic. Nothing forced. One night, when the power went out unexpectedly in the entire building, she hesitated only a second before knocking on his door instead. He opened it holding a flashlight. "Looks like it's your turn to borrow something," he said. They sat on his living room floor with candles flickering around them, shadows stretching along the walls. The darkness made everything quieter. Closer. There was no grand confession. No cinematic music playing in the background. Just a moment where silence shifted into awareness. When he reached for her hand this time, it wasn't hesitant. It wasn't accidental. It was deliberate. She didn't pull away. Some stories don't begin with fireworks or dramatic entrances. Sometimes they begin with something small and misplaced. A key under the wrong doormat. A knock at the wrong time. A neighbor you almost never spoke to. And sometimes, that's exactly how something real finds its way in.